Hello guys, good evening from here. How are you guys doing? Hope you are fine. So welcome to our next class. In this class, we are going to be working with HTML. So basically, we are doing three things in this class. First, how to create folders, and then how we can create files using Visual Studio Code, and then writing our hello world in HTML. That is what we are doing for this class. So in our next class, we are going to dive into HTML boilerplates and explore all the HTML tags and so on and so forth. But here is like we are opening our eyes to the world of coding using HTML. So and every code you have to start your code by writing hello world. So these are the things we are going to do today. Alright, in our previous class we've installed Visual Studio Code on our computer, on our laptop and systems. So today we are going to be working with Visual Studio Code to write our first HTML code. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and smash it. Alright, go to your desktop, click on Visual Studio Code. You can see my own, here is my own Visual Studio Code. Double click on it and then it will open up Visual Studio Code page to us. So here you can see Visual Studio Code, editing involved. Alright, so here is our Visual Studio Code. As you can see, here I want to zoom out so that you can see once I'm writing code, you guys will be able to see it. So I just zoom out now so that you guys will be able to see. Hope you can see clearly, right? Alright, here is Visual Studio Code. In our previous class, I told us about how we can actually create files. Just go to file, open folder, and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's a lot of icons here on Visual Studio Code that we are still going to learn. But as class progress, we are going to get to know most of them better. Alright? Open no problem with that. Alright. So let's create our folder and then let's access our folder, then begin to create our file and start working with HTML. Alright, so go to your minimize the Visual Studio Code, come to your desktop and create a new folder. We all know how to create folder, yeah. So we are not new to that. So let's call the name of the folder is what do we call the folder name? HTML and CSS files. Alright, so here is our folder. It's on our desktop. Alright, so let us access the folder from our Visual Studio Code. How do we do that? Go to file, from file go to folder, from folder go to desktop, because it's on desktop, right? So go to desktop. As you can see, HTML and CSS files. Select the folder. We have successfully select the folder. As you can see, here is HTML and CSS. Here is HTML and CSS file. As you can see. Now inside this folder, this is where our HTML file is going to stay, reside, or stored. So we are going to create our HTML file inside this folder, and there are two ways to do that. You can right click on this space, this area. As you can see, create new file. That means the new file we are creating is under this HTML and CSS files, or folder rather. It's under this HTML and CSS files, which is a folder. So whatever file we create will be inside this HTML and CSS files. Do we get that? The second way is that you can click on this icon. This icon is telling us that create new file, or this icon is also telling us that create new folder. Do we get it? So let's click on this new file and create new file. Okay. Now the name of the file is index.html. Now you want to ask me, what is .html? Why do we put .html in our file? The reason is that every file in computer system have what we call extension. That extension is the one that tell us the kind of file we are working with, or the kind of file that file is. Extension is the one that actually make us know the type of file we are working with. For example, now if you are working with Microsoft Word document files, the extension on it is .docx. .docx. I think that is the extension for Microsoft files. If you are working with CSS files, the extension will be .css. If you are working with JavaScript files, the extension will be .js, and so on and so forth. Do we get that? The extension actually make us know the kind of file we are working with. Here now, this extension tell us that we are working with web files, HTML, which is a web files. So that is why we put .html. Alright, hope we are clear with that. Okay, let's write our first hello world. Now, in our previous class, I briefly introduced some elements to us like headings, and I said that we have heading 1 to 6. So let us work with one of the heading. Heading 1. If you want to write that or start writing your code, you start with greater than less than, and then you write your words, you write your element. As you can see, then I'll write H1, then close it. Now, because we are working with Visual Studio Code, automatically Visual Studio actually automatically write our words closing tag for us. I told us in our previous slide that these are our words opening tag, and here's our words closing tag. Alright, so we understand that. Hello world. So that is what we are writing here. Hello world. Alright, as you can see, we just write hello world. Then I also introduce paragraph to us, that we can write paragraph in HTML. So it's an element. So here is paragraph. So just like paragraph in English, this is my first HTML page. Alright, then you can press Ctrl S to save. Now I just saved this file right now. How do we access this file, or how do we run this file? Minimize the Visual Studio Code again. Now go inside our words HTML and CSS files folder. Double click on it, it will open up. So here is our index.html file. As you can see, we have Chrome logo on this file. Why? Because index.html, for the reason of .html extension, it tells the computer that this is a Chrome word, is a web page files. That is why Chrome logo is showing, and then Chrome logo showing on this file also prove that we have Chrome browser installed on our machine. That is why we can see this Chrome logo. So we are going to open this file with what? With browser, and the common browser is what? Chrome browser. So double click on it, and it will automatically load these files on what? On our Chrome page. Alright, double click, it's loading up. Wow, as you can see, here's our first website. Here is our hello world, and here's our paragraph. Alright, thank you very much for this class. In our next class, we are going to dive into what? HTML structure, the boilerplate, and then we are going to explore other tags or elements in HTML. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate you guys.